With Harmony 1 almost up 15% in the last 24 hours, in this video we're going to dive down into the technical analysis to help us understand what is likely to happen next. As we get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit that like button, I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right. With all that said, done, and out of the way, let's jump on down to the desktop and take a look at what is going on here with Harmony 1. Okay guys, so as always, we're going to start things off with our weekly chart. So if you're familiar with the channel, you'll be very familiar with what we are tracking here. This is the 5 impulsive moves to the upside. If you're new to the channel, this is Elliott Theory, 5 impulsive moves. Basically, wave 1 is up, wave 3 is up, and wave 5 is up with 2 correction moves, wave 2 down and wave 4 down, okay? And for the most part, usually this would be tracked as an A, a B, and a C, which is perfectly fine. But for us, this was confirmed as impulsive once wave 3 came in, pulled down into the corrective state, and wave 4 did not cross wave 1, and now we're tracking that 5th wave to the upside. The other way that we can kind of look at this is to measure out the distance of wave 1 here, and pull this over into the wave 2 scenario, and we pushed past all of these key levels, and that basically as soon as you go past that 1.382, it's impulsive, right? So instead of a wave C correction that should have been here to the upside, we pushed right past up higher, and we actually made this an impulsive move. So we know it's not ABC, it's in fact impulsive, right? Which is exactly what we want to see, which means that the 4th wave coming down allowed us to make sure that that wasn't invalidated by not crossing wave 1, and we continued that growth to the upside. So there's several rules that we have to apply when we apply Elliott Theory, but ultimately this is kind of how the bull run is tracking, right? This is a weekly chart, it's a big overview, and we can see a good impulsive move to the upside. This is mirrored across many altcoins, like Bitcoin, for example, Cardano. We have, I think, Stellar's following it, Zilliqa's following it, Polkadot's following it to a degree, Matic's following it, Anchor's following it, like VeChain's following it. Pretty much most of these altcoins that we're invested in are following this impulsive move. There are the exceptions though. XRP is not following it. That's because it's been heavily manipulated with lawsuits, for example. And there's a few others that may be too new to actually have that starting kind of wave 1, wave 2 count. So things like Polkadot do not technically follow this move, but they're following the same trend of the move, okay? And a lot of these other altcoins that might not be following it wave for wave are following the overall trend of the bull run. Okay, so this is a key thing to understand from a weekly perspective, a big time frame, a big overview of the entire market, specifically Harmony 1 on this chart. You can see the structure of it, and it's looking very, very good. Right now, we're trading over 30 cents with almost 15% up on the last 24 hours. Harmony 1's looking pretty good, but is the pain over? We're going to get into our expectations and what we think is going to happen next in a moment. On this weekly chart, though, we can also acknowledge that there are some trends, right? We obviously have the trend of wave 2, we have the trend of wave 3, and we have the trend of wave 4. But where does that trend of wave 5 end? Well, for that, we're going to use a trend-based Fibonacci extension, okay? And this allows us to take the low area of wave 2, the high area of wave 3, the low area of wave 4, those 3 anchor points. When we take those into consideration, we can see the wave 5 ending at about 96.5 cents, okay? A nice kind of area for this to kind of come to completion and to see the end of the bull run. Now, obviously, that is where I kind of see the limits of Harmony 1 in this particular cycle, unless some fundamental shifts happen, and actually we get a lot more kind of adoption of FOMO activity around Harmony 1, which is also very possible. Anything is possible in Harmony 1, or in crypto, I should say. So we do obviously take it with a pinch of salt. You know, this is a guide, but it's by no means, you know, something that's going to be set in stone. Okay, we follow these waves. These are the most probable scenarios that are likely to occur, but again, something could happen that could push it much higher, and also we have to acknowledge that something could happen that actually prevents it from achieving its full potential. Okay, but for the most part, if it continues the way that it has been doing for this entire bull run, and this 5th wave continues like wave 1 and wave 3, then 96.5, which is great, but we want to be conservative, and that really is where our next chart comes in, which is our daily. Okay, in order to be conservative on this and to try to make sure that we end up on the right side of the bull run, we want to acknowledge that we want to only really pay attention to one trend here. Okay, and this is a more conservative model. Just take the high of 3, the low of 4, okay, and then actually focus in on that 4.236 extension coming in at 80 cents. Okay, so a little bit short of 16.5 cents short of what we actually think the peak of the bull run is going to be. And this is where we'll probably be really heavily focusing in on, making sure that we get out of the market before the potential bear market does arrive. Okay, now, for many people, you might be thinking, that's a bit low. I'll go for 90 cents. I'll go for 95 cents, or I'll go for that 96 cents. Or maybe you'll think, actually, I think I can go to $1.50 or whatever, right? Each to their own. I'm not a financial advisor. I am basically drawing up the charts with these technical indicators that I understand, and I can read the data in there, and I can kind of give my thoughts and opinions on what I think is likely to occur. But do let me know in the comments below, where do you think Harmony One is likely to end at the end of the bull run, and where are you thinking of, maybe exiting the market? Or are you even just thinking about carrying it through, getting it staked and earning a nice passive income? Really interested to know, so do let me know in the comments. So on this daily chart, though, we can obviously acknowledge there was a cup and handle pattern here. We had that play out. That went up to about 19 cents. We completed that, and then we pushed up higher, I think, to 38 cents, and we've had the pullback. Now, if I actually zoom in on this, we can see it was a big ABC correction to the downside. And not impulsive, okay, which is good to see. And then we started this move back to the upside, okay, and here we are looking to complete wave A, come down for a wave B, and then push for a wave C. And if we're lucky enough, we could see that wave C actually play out in an impulsive move, turning it into a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rather than just an ABC, like we said about the weekly chart. Okay, now if we actually zoom out, this whole fifth wave here, we have to acknowledge is going to be full of lots of waves, particularly depending on the different timelines that you look at. If we take a look at it from an 8-hour point of view, or in fact, actually, if I take a look at it from a 3-day point of view, you'll see a different kind of wave count on what's going on here, right? We technically have this big push here, wave 1, maybe wave 2. We're looking for wave 3. Wave 4, is this a big ABC move with a big ABC down? All right, so you have to kind of analyze this at lots of different levels. Now, we don't tend to go too many. We like the daily, gives us a good amount of different candles to kind of pay attention to, but is a lot more noisy. If we're looking for good structure, we stick to the weekly. And if we're looking for kind of small micro movements to know exactly kind of what's going to happen in the next sort of 48 hours, we use the hourly chart. Okay, so for right now, we can see and acknowledge that we've got a lot of waves in here, lots of kind of ABC moves. You can see these kind of going on quite heavily. But again, to get the right counts, you're going to have to be looking at lots of different timelines to really analyze it. But we're not going to get into too much detail on that kind of side of things. We are going to focus in on this shift that we are currently seeing here. Okay, this push to the upside that we're currently watching, and this a part of the big ABC move that we've seen. And now we are looking to continue this track to the upside. Now, we obviously have to have a big caveat that Bitcoin does look impulsive to the downside. And if that does play out, then I think we're looking at about 53K for Bitcoin. But I haven't checked Bitcoin recently to see if that move's been invalidated yet. If it has, then absolutely great, because that means that we can actually then continue this growth to the upside with just it being an ABC. So for now, Harmony One is moving up, so we are expecting a pullback. So this will be our wave A. We'll look back for a wave B, and then we'll look for wave C up. And if we're lucky enough, that will turn impulsive, turning that ABC into a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the weekly chart's looking pretty good. We can also see that stochastic is growing from the oversold area. So again, looking pretty good there. Right, let's jump down into our hourly view. Now, the hourly view shows us exactly what I've just been talking about. Could we see this turning impulsive? Okay, so here's our big ABC, and like I said, there's lots of noise in here, right? And we can acknowledge that there's a lot of things going on here, and it's not impulsive down by any stretch of the imagination, but it's definitely like a load of ABCs inside all of this area, and you can kind of monitor these. There's one there, for example. There's one over here as well. But what we're really tracking right now on our hourly chart is the most recent move. We have this big A wave pulled back for a B, and we're trying to track this this wave C up, right? And this wave C should end about 34.5 cents. If it pushes up higher than 37.2, then that would actually allow us to actually say, yes, it's impulsive, right? We'd expect a pullback to occur, but that will be led by another big surge to the upside, okay? So we've got two things kind of going on here. We don't necessarily know which one it is just yet. And we are seeing this kind of pull back in the middle here, which is fine. We can acknowledge that that is something that we would expect to happen, specifically with a C wave to the upside anyway. But again, we are looking to continue this growth. We are overbought, so we're looking to wipe that stochastic out and then continue this big ABC. And it's a bigger ABC, right? So it's not on an hourly chart. It's probably on, let me just go to the 4 hourly. Just check to see if it's more of a 4 hourly move. Yeah, it's probably somewhere between the 4 hourly and the hourly. So we end up with this kind of bigger ABC move occurring, where we continue that growth to the upside, ending this at approximately 34. Now, obviously, the C wave typically ends 1 for 1 on the same as an A wave. So whatever the length of that A wave would be, we would put the C wave there. That would be the most typical place, but it can fall short. Okay, it can go to the 786, the 618, etc. It can fall short. And what you can see here is it could arguably have fallen short already with this reversal. So the next thing we want to see is whether or not this move actually continues to go down and actually sets an ABC down rather than an up move. Otherwise, we are looking to at least go to 34.5. That would be the most typical move for a C wave. And considering the length of this A, that would be very, very short right now. So we could actually be looking at some micro movements, some micro ABC moves inside here as well, okay, but which is perfectly fine. We can acknowledge that these are properly happening on the 15-minute chart, okay, and nothing moves up in straight lines. You can see inside this A wave, for example, there were moments of pullbacks as well, and the big ABC will be full of waves as well. So ultimately, we're tracking this. We are monitoring the bigger ABC, not the micro movements and not these kind of tiny ABC movements that are inside these, but we are looking to raise this up over the next couple of days to about 34.5 cent. That would be the typical move. If we turn impulsive, that would be fantastic, because then we would be tracking a much bigger move to the upside overall, and which will speed things up for Harmony 1 quite a bit. Okay, but we are right now expecting this pullback. We can kind of see it. I kind of saw this happening before I went and actually recorded this video. So here you go. You can kind of see this happening right now. But we are looking to kind of bottom this out. I'm not expecting this to pull back too far. We'll expect this to be quite choppy here as it continues that growth to the upside. But overall, if we are ever in doubt and we get a bit too confused with what is going on with the smaller time frames, it's important that we zoom out. We pay attention to the weekly chart. The weekly chart is the one that is going to show you the actual structure of the bull run. Okay, it's the one that is going to really align your kind of thoughts as to what's actually going on overall. Okay, that's actually the monthly. Let me just bring that into the weekly. Okay, and here you can see that that structure is really nice and neat, and you know, this is where you really want to be paying attention to if you're hodling your way through and you're not actively trading. If you're trading or you're looking to buy and dollar cost average and all those kind of things, sure, pay attention to those smaller time frames. But if you're hodling your way through, you're not really building a position in Harmony 1, you're just kind of monitoring the situation, waiting for the right time to exit, then the weekly chart is the one that you really do want to be paying attention to. It's the one that shows you the structure, it shows you the one that has the fifth wave progressing nicely, and it's also the one that is showing you kind of the exit points, the 1.618, the 2.618, the 3.618, and the 4.236. So guys, I am going to leave the video there. If you have found this video useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.